All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. We're talking about the Detroit Lions in today's video. Now, I'm really split inside of my head right now. The Detroit Lions and the New York Giants had one of their joint practices today, and I'm sure you guys have seen it or heard about it. It's all over Twitter. There were numerous fights that broke out, and this is a little expected in joint practices in general. But Kevin Zeitler got injured today. All right. He's being evaluated for a shoulder injury. Terrion Arnold, the rookie cornerback, is being evaluated for a concussion. He was like blindsided by Andrew Thomas on a run play. The thing with this is I don't like joint practices. I like them. I actually love them in theory. But for a 12-5 NFC North winning team, I just feel like you have nothing to gain. I feel like there's literally not much to gain. Now, with that being said, for the youngsters, 100,000%, it's just injuries. That's it. And we're going to talk about the practice from today, and we're going to talk about the Lions training camp in general. I want to talk about wide receiver 3 especially. And I get it that this is very good for youngsters especially. But, an HBO led New York Giants team that has like numerous chips on their shoulders. They're coming off a disastrous season. They have a lot to prove. They're literally on HBO. I don't think it's that beneficial. I just don't think it's worth it for a team like the Detroit Lions. I wish they took a play out of Andy Reid's book and just avoided it. But that's not up to me. So welcome back to the channel. Obviously, we're talking about the Detroit Lions joint practice from today. If you guys enjoy it, be sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content, a couple Lions videos a week. Lions fans, if we could try and get this video to 250 likes, seriously, that would mean the world to me. From a football standpoint, this is sick for any team. I mean, you don't even have to be a fan of the Giants or the Detroit Lions to enjoy stuff like this. It's cool. Shenanigans begin because I think everyone's just kind of itching for preseason football. Even team wise, you're kind of seeing across the league some like team fights breaking out, not necessarily like fights, but scruffles, disagreements. And I just think everyone's kind of antsy and waiting for preseason football. There were some things today. Brian Daboll apparently was just absolutely fired up today. So competition is good. Right? We want competition. And to be honest with you, it seemed more so like the Giants were the scrappy ones. And like I said, they have a chip on their shoulder, but they're like going 3-1 versus Sewell. They're going like 3-on-1 against St. Brown. It just sucks because Terrion Arnold left practice early and is being evaluated for a concussion. So it just sucks. It's something you don't want to see. But then you have youngsters, Terrion Arnold, a freaking rookie. Like this, in theory, is beneficial to him. But anyways, I'm going to stop ragging on about this joint practice because, I keep saying it. I'll say it again. I mean, the only thing stopping the Detroit Lions this season is freaking health. You signed Kevin Zeitler because the dude does not get injured. Kevin Zeitler literally doesn't get injured, or if he's injured, he does what he needs to do to play football, and he doesn't miss football games. He just simply doesn't. And Terrion Arnold's going to be my starting cornerback number 2. So it's just, I'm a little fired up here. But let's talk about some positives. So Ennis Rakestraw Jr., draft pick out of Mizzou this year. The guy's been just picking off everybody in camp, apparently. And this is just great to hear because, Carlton Davis, Terrion Arnold, Ennis Rakestraw, Amik Robertson, I'm freaking missing one. I can see it. Emmanuel Mosley. You need as much cornerback depth as humanly possible. And, even if Terrion isn't injured at all, and, we still have, 5 weeks away from the regular season, about a month from the regular season, assumingly he comes back healthy, good to go. Hopefully he's not actually concussed. I assume by the time a lot of you guys watch this video, we'll know the details of these injuries. So I don't want to talk about it crazy, but the point is, you're going to rely on a guy like Ennis Rakestraw at some point sooner rather than later, even if injuries don't occur. That's just the defensive back room. But it's cool to see Ennis Rakestraw just continuing to improve. And once again, same thing applies to Alim McNeill. Now, Alim McNeill's been with Detroit for a couple of seasons now, but he was all over the place today from what I saw against the Giants. He's been all over the place all training camp. And I think there's a lot of concerns about the defensive line, or not necessarily concerns, but there's some question marks with the D line because, it's sweet. You got DJ Reader, you got Aleem McNeil, you got Aiden Hutchinson. The only thing missing is another edge rusher. And Marcus Davenport, we all have our eyes on him, but he's just been extremely underwhelming ever since he got into the NFL, and mainly due to injuries. But today, apparently, I got a tweet here from Colton Pouncey. This was the most physical practice he has ever seen. First play, and this is great news, first play from the Lions offense in red zone was a Jared Goff touchdown to Jameson Williams. We're about to talk about this wide receiver room in just a second, so let's hold off for just a second here. Sidelines have cleared at least 3 times already. This was like 2 hours ago. Practices have been done for a while now, but sidelines were cleared numerous times. So I like the competitive nature. I just worry with injuries. If this was like Madden and I could just turn off injuries, then hell yeah, let's rip as many joint practices as humanly possible. Moving forward, we'll end here. The Lions coaching staff, this is a tweet from Pride of Detroit. They made a cool article on it. The Lions coaching staff has made it loud and clear they need to see more out of the wide receiver 3 competition. So apparently, Doris Fountain is the leader for wide receiver 3 right now. Now, he's 28 years old. He's been in the league for numerous seasons now, and he just has barely played in the National Football League. He's had a couple of nice preseason games. I just watched a nice preseason game from a couple of years ago with the Kansas City Chiefs. I think he had like 3 catches for 51 yards. I watched his tape from Northern Iowa. He actually looks like a T.Y. Hilton. He kind of like reminds me the way he plays football of T.Y. Hilton. I just saw a roster cut bubble, like updated list. I think it was 10 different beat writers for the Detroit Lions. I think like 10 out of 10 or 9 out of 10 had DPJ gone. Apparently DPJ is on the wrong side of the roster cut bubble right now, which is actually crazy to me because he's 2 years removed from a really solid, consistent season with the Cleveland Browns. Now, Antoine Green is my favorite for wide receiver number 3 because, I loved what he did at North Carolina. He was on the field a lot at the end of the season last year. It's clear the Detroit Lions have a lot of hope in late round draft pick 2 years ago, Antoine Green entering his sophomore campaign. But apparently the level of consistency just hasn't been there. The flashes have been there, but the consistency is just not there. So apparently Fountain is the most consistent guy. And I got a tweet here from Eric Schlitt. Fountain is the clear leader right now, but joint practices and preseason games tend to separate the gamers. So this will be an interesting storyline to watch over the next week. So it's something to keep an eye on during your first preseason game, and it's something to continue to keep an eye on as you go through joint practices with the New York Giants. Now, I'm actually going to New York tomorrow. So hopefully I'm able to cover the Detroit Lions at some point throughout this whole week. I can't wait for the preseason game. I really hope I'm able to watch it. But that's all I have for today. Hit that like button, hit that sub button. Guys, let me know your thoughts on the joint practice from today, and let me know who your favorite is for wide receiver number 3 down below. Thank you for watching.